CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ross Palumbo. We begin this update with breaking news right now. USC announcing that it's canceling its commencement ceremony. This all coming a day after these 93 pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested on campus. The school today saying it's canceling the main stage ceremony that had been planned for May 10th. USC will still hold dozens of smaller commencement events, including individual college ceremonies where graduates are announced and then walk across the stage to receive their diplomas. Colleges around the country have called in police to break up demonstrations, resulting in scuffles and dozens of arrests. Meanwhile, another protest is also underway right now at UCLA, and our Michelle Geely has the latest now from Westwood.
This is what the scene looks like here on the UCLA campus. We're right in front of Royce Hall, as you can see there, as well as the library, which is behind me there where the scaffolding is. There are dozens of tents, and I'd estimate maybe a few hundred pro-Palestine protesters who showed up this morning at UCLA. We spoke to one of them who said that there's a long list of demands and they will be here until those demands are met by the university. Among those demands, an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, as well as the university system severing ties with all Israeli universities. We also spoke to a few Jewish students, some of who say that in some ways they expected this to happen here on their campus because there was a similar protest at USC. Another student saying that she knows that Jewish students are concerned and they're keeping a close eye on this, concerned about their safety. So we're going to be here all afternoon just watching and covering the latest pro-Palestine protest.
All right, thanks a lot, Michelle. We'll see her again coming up at 3 p.m. In a surprising decision today, an appeals court in New York has overturned film mogul Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction. The court saying that the judge in the case made a mistake by allowing prosecutors to call witnesses whose accusations were not part of the charges against Weinstein. They say that diminished his character in front of a jury. Weinstein's conviction helped start the Me Too movement back in 2020. Today, actress Ashley Judd spoke out about the court's decision.
First and foremost, I want to say that I stand in sisterhood and solidarity with all survivors of male sexual violence. And today is a day, like every day in American women's lives, when male sexual violence has intruded and disrupted our lives. This today is an act of institutional betrayal. And our institutions betray survivors of male sexual violence. And we need to work within and without the systems to start having what is known as institutional courage.
Harvey Weinstein still faces 16 years in prison here in California for raping a woman in his Beverly Hills hotel room. And joining me right now to talk about the court's decision is criminal defense attorney Rachel Fassé. Thanks so much for joining us, Rachel. First, does the court's decision surprise you in any way?
It was a close decision. It was a 4-3 decision. The basis of the decision is basically that letting in these witnesses' testimony were more prejudicial than probative. And a ruling like that from a trial judge, those are happening throughout time within trials. And more prejudicial than probative generally means that once the jury hears this kind of evidence, it taints the case more than it benefits or moves the ball forward. And so the argument here was that hearing these other people's testimony when they were not charged, meaning showing that Harvey Weinstein had a pattern of doing this on uncharged and unconvicted crimes, really tainted the jury's decision to convict him. And it is a discretionary decision by the judge. And to that extent, it is a bit surprising that it's reversed.
You know, it is so surprising, Rachel. It's such a huge case there. Do you think the district attorney in New York is now going to retry the case?
They say they are going to retry the case. I mean, Harvey Weinstein is still facing 16 years out in California that he'll now serve, but I can bet that his attorneys here will use this appeal to influence the appeal here in California to try to overturn his conviction here.
Well, you know, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, because he was convicted right here in Los Angeles on similar charges. So you do think that there's going to be an effect on that sentence and on that case right here in California?
Well, I believe what the effect will be is that they said in that case that he was convicted in New York. And now that that conviction is overturned, they will seek an appeal based on the fact that the jury knew that he'd been convicted in New York. And so that may have influenced their decision to convict him here. Again, it would relate back to prior criminal acts.
You know, Rachel, you followed this case very closely. What do you think about this decision coming down? Do you agree with it? Do you think it was the right decision out of New York?
I don't think it was necessarily the right decision, because I do not think you have to have criminal convictions to show prior bad acts in a case like this where they would have mounted. So the judge's decision to let those women come testify is a discretionary one that I don't think would warrant this type of appellate overturn.
Right, but on the other hand, these women and those cases were never proven in a court of law, right? So can you explain just briefly one more time what the basis for this decision was? That these weren't tried cases, these women were telling about experiences that was just their side of it. So that perhaps was prejudicing the jurors in the case he was being tried for?
That's right. So in this type of thing, and they would not have represented to the jury that he was convicted for these bad acts or for the assaults against these women, but they did let the women testify that similar things had happened to them, that were the charges of this crime. So basically they're showing prior bad acts. They're saying he has a habit, this is his MO, this is what he does. And so these women came in and testified, yes, this is what he does. And that is sometimes allowed in a case like this. But here, the appellate court decided this should not have come in because those were not convictions. And it was so prejudicial to Harvey Weinstein for people to hear that, for the jury to hear about those prior bad acts, that it likely influenced them more than it should have.
And as you know, as we all know, this really was the beginning of the Me Too movement. How do you think today's court decision out of New York is going to impact that? Do you think it's going to give women pause, thinking that here we go, he's getting off, this really didn't move as we expected? Or do you think it's going to strengthen women to still come forward, believing that he ultimately will face justice?
This is a blow to the Me Too movement and for women coming forward, because this case was so high profile. These women that were not the victims of the crimes charged, they did elect to come forward. It was all very public. And so in light of all of that evidence, I think that many survivors might think that even if you get a conviction, it's going to be overturned. Why bother?
Well, that's really unfortunate overall, aside from this case. Well, criminal defense attorney Rachel Fissé, thank you so much for joining us. We know you'll stay with us as we look for the outcome of the New York case and what happens right here in California. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Of course. And turning now to our weather, it has been a bit of a gloomy day outside. Look at that. Will it pick up, though, for the weekend? KCAL meteorologist Marina Jurica has our next weather forecast. And you know what? It's really not that bad outside. Still better than it was a few weeks ago.
I mean, just a couple of hours ago, Ross. I mean, what a difference just 2 hours can make. We couldn't even see the Malibu cam, and now we've got some sunshine out there, and it's slowly clearing from the coast inland, and it will only get better as we push towards Friday and the upcoming weekend. So looking at our visible satellite, we can definitely see it just dissolving, chipping away, and we'll gradually do that throughout the afternoon. It doesn't mean we're going to see pristine sunshine, but it'll be a whole lot better than this morning and the rut we've been in for the last couple of days. But our temperatures are not going to improve too much because the sunshine is coming a lot later. But we've got a high of 67 in Laguna Beach right now, 68 in Camarillo, 64 in both LAX, downtown LA, and Burbank. We've got 53 in Wrightwood, and we've got 62 in Lancaster. But look at this beautiful weekend. That's 2 back-to-back weekends that we've got gorgeous weather. 73 is our average high for this time of year, so we're going to be hitting it pretty much right on the nose. 72 on Saturday and 74 on Sunday, so that'll give you something to look forward to. For the Orange County forecast this afternoon, we will see some breaks of sunshine, but then we'll get that marine layer right back in here tonight. We've got a quick low that's going to sweep in as we head into tomorrow evening, and so because of that, that quick clipper is going to ride in. It's going to bring us some gusty winds tomorrow, and it's going to get rid of this offshore flow that we've been seeing. And so with that, it's going to improve our weather as we push forward into the upcoming weekend. So that gives us something to look forward to with gusty winds tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon, much sunnier than what we're looking at right now, and then high pressure dominating and some beautiful weather on both Saturday and Sunday for you to look forward to. So giving you the extended forecast for LA and OC Metro, 70s ruling with lots of sunshine starting tomorrow, and then we'll be looking at the marine layer returning to us by midweek next week. And looking at the valleys, we're going to be pushing 80 degrees as we head into Sunday and Monday, with lots of sunshine as well. And the Inland Empire, we are going to see few lingering clouds tomorrow for you folks, but then by Saturday and Sunday you catch up to the rest of us and even get into the mid-80s by the early start of next week. So whatever your plans may be, they improve by the weekend, but you will notice that we will be windier tomorrow, but that is going to be a benefit to us. Ross, back to you.
Well, listen, I'm just looking at all that sunshine behind you. Looking good, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, Marina, thank you so much. And this weekend, Los Angeles is remembering the Reverend Dr. Cecil Murray, a beloved leader who helped heal and calm the city after the 1992 LA riots. KCAL News will broadcast his homegoing celebration from the First AME Church starting at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. You can also watch on our streaming platform, CBS News Los Angeles. And this has been The Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back live here at 3 right here on CBS News Los Angeles.